In episode number 298 of the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, we cover Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee version. As we talked about last week, it is finally confirmed.
We also have something straight out of left field. Was not seeing this one coming. We have a DC Supervillains The Video Game.
Our comic book highlight this week is Adventure Time, The Beginning of the End, number 1 of 3. We had the writer on the podcast a couple of months back, and now we are here to review the very first issue.
All of this and so much more on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke every single week, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I am Darth Vader Daniel.
And I am Sniffly Kelli.
You gave me the revelation this week that you do in fact have allergies and you're not sick.
I gave myself the revelation that I have allergies. So how it all happened, and I was talking to my mom, and I was like, man, Mom, I'm coming down with a cold. Apparently I have this every year because this time every year on Facebook, what is it called now? On this day on Facebook for like the last 5 years, I've complained about having a cold. And she goes, Kelli, you have allergies. Something just blooms this week and like overwhelms your system, and then you feel like you have a cold, but it's really just allergies. I was like, psh, what are you talking about, Mom? And yeah, that's what it fucking is. Something bloomed. And I have allergies.
So it's possible that Leo may, in fact, get allergies as he gets older.
It's possible. I mean, that may be what's wrong with him now and his super fussy, crazy assness. It could be allergies. I don't know. He can't tell us.
For any new listeners, the way we format the show is first we go over some news, then we head into this week. We're going to go into what's new on Netflix for the month. We'll head into our Patreon shoutouts for the week, the people that make the show possible, and finally we'll end with a comic book review.
But with that, we'll go ahead and jump straight into our news.
Tons of announcements on the Nintendo front. Nintendo has announced a limited edition 2DS XL featuring The Legend of Zelda's Hylian Shield this July. Did you get a look at this thing?
No, but it sounds lame.
It's actually really cool.
Is it like Pikachu holding this Hyrulean shield?
No, it is actually a shield on your DS.
Lame.
I'm showing it to her now. It looks kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
I mean, I guess if you like those kind of things. If it was like a Pikachu instead, like, "Pacha, bitches," I'd be like, yeah. It could even be a beach ant, and I would buy it instead.
I've tried to make, by the way, a beach ant t-shirt.
Yeah?
I can't get the emojis to blow up and not get blurry. Like, I can't do it, but if I could, I would definitely make... If anyone out there is good at pixelation, like making pixel art, I need a beach and an ant emoji so I can slap it on t-shirts.
Have you tried to, like, Google beach ant and see what comes up under images?
Well, I'm not going to just slap a picture. You know, I'm not going to put, like, I don't know if you've seen people where they have, like, in remembrance or rest in peace, and they have, like, someone's fucking picture on it that just gets printed on their t-shirt. I'm not going to do that with an actual image of an ant.
Look how cute that is. It's an ant chilling at a beach.
But beach ants aren't cute. They're bitch asses. They're beach ants. They're not supposed to be cute.
Well... There's a creepy beach ant. Just put that on there.
So this GameStop exclusive system is going to launch at $159.99, and that is because it comes with the pre-installed A Link Between Worlds, the only Legend of Zelda game that the Kelli has ever completed.
The only one worth me completing. That's pretty cool. I do really enjoy that game. Some year I might go back and play it again. It was a really good game. If you like Legend of Zelda, this is a goodbye, I guess.
They've done the Triforce in the past.
Yes.
They've done, I believe, like a green version. I might be confusing it with like the Venusaur Pokemon Green version. But I know now they've never done a Legend of Zelda Hylian Shield that I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And now they're doing it with the 2DS XL. As the Lazy Gaming guy said last night, maybe they have so much stock of this 2DSs lying around that they're just slapping a new shell and just getting rid of them.
We're buying them.
They're really awesome.
I've turned on my Pikachu 2DS like 3 times. I don't care. I still love it.
It came out really, really nice. And so did this one. Anything Legend of Zelda, slap it on any system and the Zelda fans will buy it.
You used to have the Triforce one, didn't you? Or did we bootleg that one?
Both.
Oh, okay, okay.
So we bought the casing, which was for the regular DS. It was the DS Lite, and it was the black and gold one. So we went over, what was the name of that game shop at the time? And it used to be, it wasn't a GameStop, but it was like a more independent version of that.
I don't even remember. It was like a mix between GameStop and Cool Stuff.
A little bit, yeah. And with that, we went in there and the guy would actually customize systems. He would sell old retro games. So it was where you can go to buy retro games when GameStop wouldn't, before they offered that stuff. And I bought the shell to that Legend of Zelda regular DS because at the time they were sold out. But they were selling bootlegged versions of the shells on eBay. And I bought a version of that, $30, and it came with all the screws and everything. And it actually was legit. From what I saw, it had the official Nintendo branding on it, like the molding. But there were slight errors on it. So I'm assuming these were versions or copies that didn't quite make it past inspection.
So Nintendo fucking sold it for $30.
I guess so. I don't know. Someone did. Someone took all of them and threw them on eBay. But it looks nice and they came out great. So that's what you're talking about, like the bootleg version. He took off the shell and he swapped it out, and I had a Zelda DS. But the second one was the 3DS, in which it was very similar. It was the fully gold one, and it came out really nice. It was the Triforce.
I miss my bootleg system. You know what I never bought from that store, and I should have? I should have just spent the money. Do you ever have those moments when you look back to like when you were younger and you were like, I should have just fucking spent the money?
Everyone has that. I see that at the comic shop all the time.
Oh my God, all the time. But he had at that shop the Pikachu N64. It was and a green one. No, it was he had both of those. Anyway, they were like $40 a piece, and like younger me was like, no, I'll save my money. And now I'm like, I should have just fucking bought it. Like, would I ever use it? No. Would it be sitting in a box? Yes, but I would have it.
You're a collector. That's the collector mentality.
I guess. Ugh. But see, like now older me with all this money.
All this money.
A few extra dollars. It's like, what was $40?
That's still less than diapers.
Yes.
So speaking of the Pokemon Company, they have confirmed the rumored Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee that we talked about last week. So they came out with it. All that trademark shit was real, and it is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
It will be releasing this November, and players will return to Kanto, and is described as almost a remake of Pokemon Yellow, but not. Continue.
Hold on a second. So why is it? Do we need to cover all this before you not consider it a Pokemon Yellow?
Ahead.
So instead of standard grass encounters, players will encounter Pokemon in the in-game world similar to the Pokemon Go app. So when you see it in the trailer, your trainer's running around, and you actually see like a Clefairy on the map. You see it's without the GPS system, but it's in the game itself. So if you've played Pokemon Go, imagine actually just sitting there controlling your character, and you can kind of pick and choose which Pokemon you want to go after.
Nah. While there are traditional battles, the capture system is heavily influenced by Pokemon Go. You gotta take your little joystick and go meow, 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 meow.
You spin your Pokeball, you throw it in there, it's got the little circle, and it's exactly like Pokemon Go. They made this game for players that have not played Pokemon in years, that have been playing Pokemon Go, that want to play a Pokemon game, but for some reason did not dive into X, Y, or Pokemon Sun and Moon. But this is instead, like, do you like Pokemon Go? Do you want that full Pokemon experience, but with the mechanics of Pokemon Go? Here you go. It's not a bad move, and it's smart in which they did place it in Kanto, because the people playing Pokemon Go are people our age.
Yeah.
You're so upset about this.
I'm a little bit upset. So Pikachu and Eevee are customizable with full clothing and accessories, and Pokemon will once again follow the player's avatar as last seen in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Isn't that what you wanted?
Just keep reading. We're not done yet.
Players can connect Pokemon Go captures with Pokemon Pikachu and Eevee, and the Pokemon will feature an all-new creature for those that do.
You can also invite a second player on your Pokemon journey, and both of you can capture the same Pokemon together.
It is set to release this year, November 16th. What's your beef with Pikachu version of Pokemon? What's your beef with the remake? What do you think
my beef is? Let's see how well you know me. What do you think my beef is?
The only beef that I can think of with this is the fact that it does have the Pokemon Go mechanics to it, and not a full-fledged Pokemon game, which I think it will still be.
No. I mean, that's part of it. But they just made it so easy. Now I can avoid the Zubats in the cave. That was part of the charm of Pokemon Yellow, is you didn't know what repels were. You were just walking through the cave. And you're like, oh shit, another Zubat. 2 more steps. Oh shit, another Zubat. Oh, can't escape. Now you can just escape all the time. You don't even have to fight them.
Is that it? Like, is that
no,
the only
there's
thing?
more. Okay, so it's kind of cool that you can bring somebody else for your journey, right? But now we would have to buy two systems to even enjoy that. So no thanks, not going to happen. But if you guys catch a Pokemon together, do you have to like share custody? What happens when you split up?
What I'm assuming it does is it actually copies the Pokemon to both versions.
No,
so when you both capture,
you can't just copy Pokemon.
it's a special Pokeball that does. I mean, they're all data anyway.
No, they're creatures.
Do you not Pokemon? They turn into data when they go into your Pokeball. They're not like when people make like the little figurines and they show like a little tree inside of the Pokeball. It's not like a little world. The reason it's mirrors is because it's containing that energy and the data. They get churned. It's kind of like Digimon. They're digital monsters, Kelly. They are digital monsters.
They are pocket monsters. And I don't enjoy your science. And then I don't like the way the game looks.
It's an HD version of the originals.
Yeah,
basically.
I miss my pixels. I miss not knowing
we all miss the pixels.
I miss not knowing if I was a boy or a girl. Nobody knew. I had to decide for myself. Nobody was labeling me.
And you can start with a Pikachu as well? A Pikachu starter?
I guess I could do that anyway. There's cheat codes.
I think what they should have called this, because in the remake of Pokemon Yellow, in the original Yellow, when you played the game, you played as Ash. It was based on the anime. You saw Team Rocket and they were straight out of the anime.
Yeah.
And then Gary would actually choose Eevee and not one of the three original starters.
Yeah.
You can gain the three starters just like Ash did in the anime. So it was basically the TV show as a video game. This being a remake of that, you're essentially choosing, are you Ash or are you Gary? Because those are the two starters, Pikachu and Eevee. They should have called this Pokemon Let's Go Ash, Pokemon Let's Go Gary. You just tell people, smell you later all fucking day if you choose Eevee.
That was my favorite music in that game. I loved it.
It was pretty good. Not my favorite Pokemon song, but it is really good.
No, your favorite is
Driftvale City. Look it up if you missed that tweet.
I miss Gary. I don't know. I see what they're trying to do. Will I play it? Yeah, probably. Do I think it's a smart move? Yeah, it is. But there's so many things I loved about the old game that granted were not very good or smart decisions that they did, but it's still, that's what I grew up on. That was my first experience with Pokemon. So anything that's not that just isn't my Pokemon game.
They re-released Yellow on the 3DS, I believe, and I think you downloaded it too.
Yeah, I'm halfway through.
You've got your old game.
I'm about to fight Blair in my game.
There you go.
So
I think it's Blaine.
Yeah, whatever. Listen, allergies and mommy brain. And I'm still waiting for my fucking miracle baby bed. Where is it? I'm waiting.
She's checking. It should be in today, but
it should have been here half an hour ago.
Are you going to dress up your Pikachu in different outfits?
Yes. I'm a woman.
Pikachu is not perfect as is.
Pikachu is excellent as is, but Pikachu is also cute with clothes. I am perfect as is, and I still dress myself every day. Leo is perfect as is, and I have the cutest clothes for him.
People are saying that this is finally the full RPG experience that people wanted. This is what people kept fucking whining about for many years, is that they wanted a console proper Pokemon game. They're finally fucking getting it.
That's my other problem. I don't agree with Pokemon being a console game. Pokemon is a handheld game. I like being able to take it and play it on the go.
Well, you can do that with the Switch version, so it still counts. They cheated. It's still technically Pocket Monsters because you can take the Switch on the go.
You and your fucking loopholes.
It's not a loophole. I'm just being truthful. Nintendo and their fucking loopholes. Next year, there's supposed to be an actual proper Pokemon game, one not influenced by Pokemon Go, that they will announce. I don't know if they'll do it at E3 this year because they want to focus on this Pokemon game.
Right.
But later on this year or next year, early on, you'll probably see some kind of announcement for the next two versions of Pokemon.
Looking at the trailer, it looked like you could play with a Pokeball.
Yeah, it's like a little accessory.
So how many Pokeballs do you think are going to go through TVs?
A ton.
So many.
It didn't help that the trailer said, throw your Pokeball to capture Pokemon. And it's like, all right, kids are definitely going to throw the Pokeball literally at the television. It's going to happen.
Of course. And then parents are going to be suing Nintendo, and they're going to have to put something in there that says, do not actually throw Pokeball.
Well, it already has the wrist strap, just like the Wiimotes. And I think that's like the minimum that's required on there, aside from all the warnings. And I'm sure they learned from the Wii. Like, just throw these warnings in there, and if they fuck up their TV, that's their fucking problem.
Let us know what you think of these new Pokemon games, though. Hit us up on Twitter at Palpakelly. You just gotta let me know. And only if you know, but at Reasons I'm Broke at Palpakelly. And let us know if you are excited for these or if it's not your Pokemon game. Hashtag not my Pokemon.
So one of the artists that we missed at MegaCon last weekend was an official worker for the Lego games and the Lego series.
I thought you were going to say Lego Pokemon. I was like, now that's shit I can get behind.
And that artist was actually doing sketches in Lego style. So if you wanted a Lego version of whatever character you wanted in the comic universe, he would draw it on comics. I'm like, damn it, I fucking missed it. I should have gotten him.
I saw him.
Well, you should have pointed him out. I missed him.
No,
oh,
he was all the way
me.
to the right. He had like a big Lego Batman behind him.
Well,
and I was like, cool, Lego Batman. And
should have said, hey, cool, Lego Batman, and pointed at him.
Well, you were probably talking to somebody. I don't know.
Well, he finally announced on Twitter, like, hey, I can finally talk about this. I worked on this video game. Warner Brothers Interactive has announced a Lego DC Supervillains video game in which players control the DC supervillains after the Justice League has disappeared.
Sold. Fucking sold.
It's kind of like Forever Evil, isn't it? A little bit.
I guess.
If you remember that storyline.
Yeah, I do remember it.
Now you can actually play as many of the villains in the DC universe. You can also create your own character and use that character in the storyline.
A deluxe edition of the game featuring the main game content, season pass content, and early access to the DC Supervillains TV series DLC character pack is now available for pre-order. That's a lot of shit.
This game is going to come out on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and the PC. Super tempted. We still haven't even beaten Lego Batman 3, though.
Doesn't matter. Buy it. It's cool. The cool thing about Lego games is we can really enjoy it, but it's still something easy for Leo to play.
That's true.
So it's not going to be too many more years. He already pulls up YouTube on my phone and plays hip-hop violin. Mm-hmm. Won't be that much longer. He'll be able to play it with you. So yeah, just fucking get it. Keep it there. Done.
Can I play as Kite Man?
I hope you can play as Kite Man. I want to be Condiment King.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got to be. And it's the Lego game. They throw everyone in there.
Oh, yeah, they would have to. And if not, make them DLC. $2. Download Condiment King. Sold. Done. I will be Condiment King for $2.
So continuing along here, Disney's Solo, a Star Wars film, came out over this past weekend. A lot of people saw it. A lot of people did not. It fell short of expectations. Short of Disney's expectations, earning an estimated $83 million for its opening domestic box office. Internationally, it also underperformed with $65 million.
I like how this is hundreds of millions, and I'm going...
Tens of millions, but...
But, I mean, you add them together, and it's over
a little over 100, yeah.
All right, thanks.
Warner Brothers' Justice League, performed better at $93 million for its domestic. Now, here's the thing. I never would have expected, I know Justice League made less money out of the entire DCEU, but it still was profitable for Warner Brothers. So as much as we don't like Justice League, this is why they're going to keep making it, because they're still making money on these things. Mm-hmm. But if you had told me that a Star Wars anything film would ever make more money than something from Warner Brothers as far as like the DC universe,
make less money.
I'm sorry, yeah, make less money, I would not have believed you. Mm-hmm. Because Star Wars is so huge in the Disney universe. Now, I understand why now, because why it underperformed, and that is that I've heard it a lot with a lot of fans, a lot of people I've interacted with, is Star Wars fans feel, I guess, betrayed, or they're feeling shitty and butthurt over The Last Jedi. They're feeling like it's not their Star Wars anymore, so they're not exactly flocking to the theaters to see movies like Solo.
I think part of it, too, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I feel like this movie wasn't as advertised as some of the other movies.
Yeah, it kind of snuck up on me, too, as far as when it released.
Right, because I saw one preview for it, and then I was like, oh, that's coming out. And then people on my Facebook the same day were talking about how they went to see it. Oh, okay, this happened. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard any reactions one way or another?
No, I haven't. I all my friends who watch those movies now no longer work with me, and I'm very sad about that, so we're going to move on from that. So I haven't talked to anybody about it. Nobody posted about it. One person on Facebook went, it was all right. I think part of it, too, is the character of Han Solo we associate with Indiana Jones. I can't remember. Harrison Ford. And now it's not. And from the preview, the guy looked like he did okay, but for the people who care about that character, they care about it because of Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not Harrison Ford. So you're not going to have a big flocking of those people saying, yes, let's hear the story about this character who's no longer really this character.
Right. Yeah, for the most part, I've heard good things. Like, people that I've talked to seem to have enjoyed it. But yeah, it's not like everyone's coming in and saying, hey, Solo, did you watch Solo? I'm not getting that like I did with Last Jedi or The Force Awakens or even Rogue One. But there are more movies for Disney coming out, which should make up for, maybe. I don't know how this one's going to do. I'm a little skeptical on it.
Disney's official Twitter account has revealed on-set photos confirming that production on Maleficent 2 has begun.
So the summary reads, quote, Angelina Jolie and Elle Fanning are both reprising their roles, and the new film picks up several years after the original, following Maleficent and Princess Aurora as they form new alliances and face new adversaries in their struggle to protect the Moors and the magical creatures that reside within, end quote. So it is kind of like a mother-daughter type of team-up, I guess, of this movie, and there's going to be a bigger threat to the two characters.
I'm not sold on this one. I did really enjoy the first one, and maybe I'll really enjoy the second. I just don't see where they can take the story.
Yeah, I agree.
From here, and I kind of have to have that vision to be, and maybe we'll see some previews soon, and then that'll change my mind, because I did really enjoy what they did with the first one. I thought Angelina Jolie was fantastic. I loved the twist at the end, where true love's first kiss, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, fuck you, Frozen.
Yeah, fuck you. I thought that was really great, but again, like we just said, I don't see where this can go at this point.
It is set to release next year. I know they did say that they recast the old ex of Maleficent, the old king. What was his name? King whatever the fuck?
King crazy ass.
He got recast, so I'm assuming he's going to be the main villain in the second movie as both Aurora and...
Didn't he, die? I thought he died in the first one.
No, he just got cast off, and they told him to fuck off, essentially, from what I remember. But it's magic. Even if he did... He got recast, he's coming back in some form.
Oh.
Paul Dini actually finally talked about the first Maleficent on Twitter. And I don't know if there was okay, this is all settled, because I don't know if you remember, there was a legal thing about the first Maleficent movie, how he wrote the screenplay for it, and then they didn't give him credit in the actual live-action movie, and then he said that he couldn't talk about why. And then a new screenwriter came on and rewrote his script, and that's what we saw on the big screen. We finally talked about it, and he said that they are now crediting him on the home video releases. So whatever, he said they forgot. So however you want to take that. He won his legal battle for that.
Yeah.
So now he's credited for the script, but he said that it originally was actually written to be an animated Maleficent movie. And then they took his script, adapted it to live action, and reworked it with a new screenwriter. So that's where now the mystery is solved. And I'm like, all right, now I fucking know. I would have loved to have seen an animated Maleficent movie as well, though. But I'm happy with what we got with the live action movie. I'm glad Paul Dini is getting his fucking credits.
Yes.
Because I'm sure most of the good stuff in that movie was because of Paul Dini.
I'm sure.
If you recognize his writing at all, he does step outside the box. He does things very differently. He likes to make fun of the conventional. If you ever read his Jingle Bell series, long ongoing, and it's still going, he'll release it every other holiday season, basically. It is him making fun of Santa Claus, the traditions of Christmas, everything. That's his thing. He worked on Tiny Toons for many years, Animaniacs, and with Maleficent, he makes fun of the original three fairies and the fairy tale itself. So it is kind of only he would come up with these ideas of it was actually Maleficent taking care of Aurora the whole time, and not these three idiot sisters.
Speaking of the three idiot sisters, I don't think you were with me, but when we were at MegaCon, there were three guys, 6 foot something, 200 something pounds, all dressed up as the three fairies. And they were some of my favorite cosplays.
Which was your favorite fairy from the original series?
I don't even remember. I wasn't allowed to watch that one as a kid because Maleficent used magic.
Oh, okay.
So that one, I've only seen Little Mermaid once. So I need to go back and rewatch that. But anything where it was a witch-like character that used magic. The genie was fine. I could watch Genie all night long. And Pocahontas was fine. I don't know why Pocahontas was okay. But if it was a witch character, I was not allowed to
What
watch
about The
it.
Lion King with Rafiki? He's
I
like an
could watch
African
that,
witch.
yes.
Watch that.
But if
So
I
if they're
don't
male
know-
witches, it's okay. But if they're
Yes.
that's sexist.
Look, if it was a witch character, I was not allowed to watch it.
You know why? Because they're warlocks. Isn't that the thing? They're actual warlocks, and witches are supposed to be females. That's what I always knew as a
yes.
kid. That's what they taught me. Is so warlocks are okay, but not,
I
not
guess.
witches.
I don't know. I don't know why they were okay. And then when I found out I wasn't supposed to watch things with witches, I'd watch Pocahontas and be like, am I allowed to watch this? I don't understand.
There's a talking tree.
I know. And she's singing like some spooky music. And then Beauty and the Beast was fine. There's kind of a witch in that
Yeah, there
too.
is. The
So
Enchantress
I
at
don't-
the beginning.
I don't know why that one was okay. And
It's
but the fairy
interesting.
godmother was okay.
They're
So-
totally witches.
So I don't know.
What about Snow White? Did you watch that?
No, I never
Okay.
watched Snow White. I've seen Snow White once, but it wasn't one that I owned.
That's like the witchiest of witches is the one in Snow White. So if you were to say I was allowed to watch
but
Snow
she
White.
was an evil queen.
Yeah, but she was also like an evil witch giving out apples and shit. Poisoned apples. It is pretty much a
Preface
witch.
poison apples.
She's not a nice one.
Just here, kids, here's some apples.
Are you happy with Maleficent 2? Are we going to go see it? Even though it's not written by Paul Dini?
Yeah, if we have time, sure.
Give it a watch?
if we have time, if someone will watch our child.
So even more from Disney, and this continues on the Star Wars side, Logan director James Mangold is set to direct a Boba Fett solo film, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Fucking finally, Jesus Christ. People love that character. He fits along with Darth Maul, along with Venom, and now it's Boba Fett. He needs his fucking movie. Not because he's a great character. I think he's as good as Venom and Darth Maul. Or as bad, I should say. But I know his solo movie will bring people up there because they want to see him look cool on the big screen.
Are we going to go see this one?
Hell fucking, I don't give a shit about no Boba
But-
Fett unless it's Tom Hardy cast as Boba Fett.
But it's the Logan director. We enjoyed Logan.
You're right. I did enjoy Logan. Maybe. I'm going to have to see who the main lead is going to be.
So this sits in the Star Wars anthology series of movies that also include Rogue One and Solo.
Lucasfilm has also considered a film for Yoda. Yes, no, maybe. Would you see that?
No, because it's got to be all CG, the whole fucking thing.
How about Jabba the Hutt?
By Guillermo del Toro.
By Guillermo
Fuck
del Toro.
Yes, he would make a giant... Guillermo, we need to do CG Jabba. No. We're going to build a suit.
But we need to save money, Guillermo. We're not going to...
No. Dougie Jones is already inside the suit. And you look up and there's a fucking Jabba
I blew the
suit.
whole budget on the suit. I need more money.
We're just going to call it Jabba the suit.
They just film on the streets in the back lots, and it's just Dougie Jones
And
running
you know
around.
what? It'll be the best Star Wars
Yes.
movie ever
Yes.
with Guillermo del Toro.
I want to know what's going on with that, because that was a few years back that Guillermo pitched a Jabba the Hutt movie. Here's the thing, I don't think it's ever going to happen, because that's not sellable merchandise. I don't think you can sell Jabba the Hutt. He's not sexy. He's not popping. He's not something you can throw on
You
cups
don't know.
and sell.
Maybe before he got rich, he had this nice, like, slug body, and then he got rich and just started, like, eating and looking at humanoid women, and then he... But maybe prior to, he was a sexy Jabba.
You know what? You might be right.
Yeah.
You might
you
be
don't
right.
know. And as Guillermo, he can turn gold out of bullshit.
Sexy Jabba the Hutt.
Uh-huh.
Sexy Jabba the Hutt. I would... Yes. Brilliant, Emperor. Very good. Very fucking good. You're better than Disney at this shit. You sold me on Jabba the Hutt. Like, Guillermo del Toro, I'm like, all right, it's not going to happen because of this. But you make him sexy. It's going to happen. Totally going to happen. Nicely done.
What are you envisioning this sexy Jabba looking like? Like, I couldn't even get to that point. I just threw out that he was sexy.
Well, it's got to be a sexy slug. I'm sure if you go on Tumblr and you type in, like, sexy Jabba the Hutt, or if you, whatever crossover that they want to do with those characters, I'm sure that someone's already done, like, a sexy Jabba the Hutt. I mean, there's got to be fan fiction of the scene with Princess Slave Leia with Jabba the Hutt. There's no way there's not filthy. There you go. You pulled it up. She pulled up Jabba the Hutt with fucking abs.
Who comes up with these things? Somebody put him in Leia's costume too, which is also
Gender
sexy.
bent Hutt?
I guess. I enjoy six-pack Jabba the Hutt. I would watch this movie.
It would have to be set before the prequels because in episode 1, he shows up in the audience for the pod racing portion, and he looks exactly the same.
Of course he does. No, I approve of this sexy Jabba the Hutt Guillermo del Toro movie.
I think everyone does.
There will be some weirdos so that Dougie Jones has a role to play with his...
Oh, he's got to play like 8 characters in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
All the characters.
So we're going to head into some more generic movie news as we jump into eventually what's new on Netflix. I do want to make a formal announcement here on the podcast. You may have seen some news stories pop up, and you may have seen some tweets go up as well as Instagram. But I do want to say that my Aquaman stunt double, Jason Momoa, and I have stepped down from next year's The Crow remake.
Aww.
So I wanted you guys to know that. And to know the reason, it is all because of Sony. Sony did not want to pay us the money we were asking for. They're going to say that it's creative. They want money I deserve. They're going to put out creative differences. And it's like, yeah, creatively fucking financial differences is what this is all about. If you're not going to pay both, it's all because of Jason. Honestly, they were paying me what I asked for, but they were paying him much less than what I expected. And when we demanded more money, they did not want to give Jason money. So I said, you know what? Then I fucking walk. And it wasn't even like no, come back, fine, we'll pay him. I said, no, we're fucking done. Come on, Jason. We're going to go do something fucking else. And you know what Sony's doing now? They're reconsidering the whole fucking remake. They might not ever even make this movie.
Yeah, because
now.
Without you
what the
you
fuck?
and Jason, you just can't.
We're done. Like if they had seen the potential returns for this year's Aquaman, maybe then they would have been smart the first time. But I don't know who the fuck. I'm gonna blame Joe Whedon again.
I'm sure
because
it was him.
Because of they saw my Justice League movie and they said, "What the hell was that?" And I'm like, "I know, right? What the fuck was that? I didn't participate in any of those fucking reshoots. Fuck that shit." And I'm not. If Jason wants to get paid for that, great. I'm not gonna hold that against him. He needs his money. He needs that stuff, and I'm not gonna blame him. I'm not gonna be a part of that bullshit. I'm an artist at heart, so fuck that. And they saw what that performed, and they said, no, we're not going to spend that much on this movie. So, sorry guys, there probably won't be a Crow remake starring myself and Jason.
You went a different direction with Joey Whedon causing this problem, because in my mind, he was just hiding behind curtains in the meeting room, like, don't pay them.
Joey, is that you back there? Is that you? Get your fucking ass back here. Goddamn, why are you listening to his dumb ass?
You can find someone better. They're just bluffing. But no,
you don't want a brown crow.
Daniel's an asshole. Don't work with him.
Have you heard his podcast? He's kind of a dick. Joey, you're a fake feminist. Fuck yourself.
He doesn't believe in feminism, but I do.
Joey, you're such a fucking liar, you piece of shit.
It just became high school in the meeting room.
That's all they're fucking high schoolers, Kelly. This is who we're dealing with. We're not dealing with actual filmmakers. We're dealing with the money. He
wet the bed until the 5th grade. Joey, what the fuck?
You're gonna believe this shit? I'm walking. So now you guys know. Really, like I didn't want to divulge that much information, but all right, Emperor calls it. She says it, and so it will be.
That yes. Is that what I say now? Is that like my Pope
thing?
Like, and so it will
and
be.
So it will be.
I calls it, and so's it be.
Perfect.
I'm the coolest fucking emperor ever. Shit.
That's not news. That's not new news. Everyone knows this shit.
Is true.
So we're going to get more comic book based movies. I actually ended up pissing off someone about this, but so Jamie Foxx from Django Unchained and also Collateral. Have you seen Collateral?
No.
Really fucking good. I need to show you that movie. Has accepted the lead role as Spawn in Todd McFarlane's reboot, and this is according to Deadline.
We have a quote here. Quote, "If you want to see something creepy and powerful, where you go, just what the hell was that? I'm not going to explain how Spawn does what he does. He is just going to do it." End quote. This came from McFarlane to Deadline.
Well, we continue this quote by saying, "We'll eventually do some of the background if we make a trilogy, but that's not this first movie. The first movie is just saying, do you believe? And if you believe, then that's good because I'm hoping to take you for a long ride with this franchise." End quote.
Do you know what I believe?
that he's waiting to see how much money this makes before he promises shit.
I also believe that his grammar was shit in this quote because I was reading it and I didn't understand half of it.
Look, he's an artist. He's not an author, even though he's writing the fucking movie and he's directing it.
Oh, no.
And he's going to do a documentary about the difference between 40 millimeter and 60 millimeter films and HD high definition.
And write a book about it.
And he's going to write a novel.
And someone will eventually remake it and win an Oscar.
I had a pretty heated argument with someone this week, and he got really upset at me. I don't know. I think it's because it cuts to the core of what belongs to the creator and what belongs to fans. Does something you create, Kelly? Does something that anyone creates? Does it eventually become the fans and not the creators? Does that ever happen? Does it ever grow so much that it becomes the fans?
I would say that yes, it does.
Okay, so you might be on his side more than anything. So you can argue Star Wars with Lucas, and people said the changes that he made, it's like, well, midichlorians? What the hell? That's not the Force that you made. And I always argue it's his fucking universe. If he says it's midichlorians, and so fucking be it. So I'm on the opposite end. Well, I had this conversation with someone, and they were talking about the Spawn movie, and they said they will finally do a proper Spawn movie, not like that one in the 90s that was shit. It was crap. And I'm like, it did fine. And I remember as a kid, I liked it because I'm like, Spawn looks cool in that. Like, that's all I cared about as a kid is, does he look cool? And it makes sense because he's the creator of Venom. So he just makes cool looking characters. He's good at that. And when Spawn came out, and I had to explain to him, he's like, maybe they'll make it proper this time. And I said, McFarlane is writing and directing this, right? He's the original creator of Spawn. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, he already said that this is going to be like an indie film, low budget. He's not going to do the big red cape. He's not going to do the superheroics like I guess sort of like the comic does, although not really. He's going to do a horror film out of Spawn. It's going to be, as he compared it, like a Halloween movie where it's the killer slowly walking up to the victims and knocking them off in a cool way. It's not going to be like the 90s movie or the comics where he's using his giant cape and he's having these giant dynamic battles. It is going to be a more down-to-earth movie. And he freaked out and he's like, that's not Spawn. He needs to have the red cape. And I'm like, it's his creation, man.
Right.
This is what Spawn is now. If he wants Spawn to be a low budget, no big red cape movie, then so be it. That's his thing. You don't have to see it though. And he's like, well, that's shit. He should. Jesus, dude, calm down,
that's too
man.
Far.
It's relax. It's just don't fucking see it. Read the comics. If you like Spawn so much, that's what you should be watching or you should be reading. Like, stay with that. So that's why I had to ask, like, does it ever become the fans'? In this case, does he have a point in that he should have a big red cape? Should he be what people recognize? Should he be what the fans recognize and what they've built throughout all these years?
So this is a tough answer for me because if he really wants this film to do well and make a shit ton of money reliably, then yes, that's what he needs to go with because that's what the audience sees and that's the audience that'll come. The direction he's going, it could potentially be a really great film, potentially.
Sure.
And pull in people that aren't just that core audience.
Right.
And then, of course, he has, the potential to make something that's lasting, like a Halloween movie, if it's done really well. But going back to the other point, I do believe that fans can make a character their own. A good example for me, and I always go back to this one, is with the Last Airbender franchise, Zatara. Those characters, for me, for a lot of other people out there, Zuko and Katara eventually end up together.
Even though they don't.
Even though they don't. That's not what happens. That's not canon. That's not what the writers ended up with, whether that was their intention or not.
Right.
But if you look at the statistics, the majority of people prefer that to what actually happened. So in that instance, when I read the comics that they've brought out since then, when Katara and Aang are together, I'm saying, well, that's not really the character. Do I get mad about that? No, because I have my fan fiction. I have other mediums that I can enjoy. But in a sense, those characters kind of became my own because that's what I see in my mind. That's what I follow. That's what it's become. So it's the same thing with this. I think the reaction that you got was a little bit extreme of this isn't right. Well, no, that's what it's become for you, and then that's great that you enjoy it so much that you're able to create something new and have something new in your mind. But again, this guy making the movie, this guy creating, being the creator, can make it anything that he wants.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the wonderful thing, one of the wonderful things about the internet and creativity is you have people who follow the same things you do, believe the same things you do about a character, and you can join a community on Tumblr, on DeviantArt, or on wherever, where you're enjoying these creations of these characters together in the way that you see them.
Now and I let him know, I'm like, you know why he's changing it so much, right? And it wouldn't penetrate his mind because he doesn't care. He just wants a cool looking character. And I told him he got a low ass budget for this movie.
Yeah.
So he's not going to put a giant ass red cape. So he's rewriting it and trying to sell the movie for what it is. And that's why he said this is not the first part of a trilogy. If this makes money, then I'll slap the stupid goofy red cape on it and then we'll call it a day. So I think that's what I'm like, this is why he's reworking it and he's making it. He's working with what he has, and you can only respect him for that. Whether this movie is shit or not, I think it will be, because McFarlane's not known to be a director.
Right.
But Jamie Foxx's performance may be enough to, get me through the whole
Carry
movie.
the movie, yeah.
So I'll definitely be giving it a shot. I like Jamie Foxx. I love Collateral. I got to show you Collateral. I really do. This is set to release sometime next year.
Maybe. It might release the same time as Kingdom Hearts 3 does.
Let's hope McFarlane can direct in a timely manner. Let's hope he can not go over budget. He won't go over budget like Guillermo, so I guess he might be all right.
No one goes over budget. Like, Guillermo's already over budget for the Jabba the Hutt film that hasn't even been picked up yet.
They've lost money on Guillermo already, just from that pitch.
Just when you whisper Guillermo's name and, like, your bank account drops. And I love it.
So before we head into the Brocat block, let's check out what's new on Netflix for June 2019. 2018, sorry. I mistyped that. 2018.
Into the future.
People just went through a time warp.
So keep in mind, guys, these are just the highlights, things that pertain to us, things that we like to talk about. This is not the full list. You can Google what's new on Netflix June 2018, and you can find the full list up there.
So the first one on this list, 101 Dalmatians, the 1996 version, the one with Glenn Close.
Not the one with Glenn Close.
Yeah, she plays Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, and the new live action one.
That's what this is, 1996.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Absolutely it is.
Please look it up.
Are you kidding me?
I will fight you on
What are we
this.
betting on this one?
I will bet whatever you want,
shit.
because
You're
this
super
is
confident
the
on this.
animated version.
The animated version came out in the 70s.
It did not.
101 Dalmatians, 1996.
I was not 6 when the live action came out. I was not.
1996.
No! All right. You win. You can get up with Leo in the morning. All right, fine. Fuck me.
Have you seen that movie?
I have. It wasn't very good. This is
I
probably
agree.
why I blocked it from my memory. And I obviously saw it when I was much older and not 6 years old.
Glenn Close did okay, from what I remember as a child.
I remember being scared of
Cruella
her.
de Vil.
Yeah.
I was never scared of her, but I'm like, that's pretty much like Cruella de Vil.
Well,
And I like that did they do the weird talking animals in this version where their mouths kind of moved, or did they just do like the monologue voiceover
I
thing?
don't even remember. That's how much I liked the movie. I was probably 12 or 13 before I saw it. And I saw it once and I was like, because I grew up watching the older one.
I don't know if these were the characters, but this is what I think should have happened, and it didn't. In an alternate universe, maybe it did. But you remember her two lackeys, like Boris and whatever? They should have been the two Home Alone guys. You know what I mean?
I always saw that, like, in my mind's eye. I never really watched Home Alone either.
That's one of this existence's injustices. Like, that never happened. It should have happened.
It should have happened.
They were
it
made for that role.
perfect. Yes, yes. Did you like the original 101 Dalmatians?
I did enjoy it a lot.
I still remember the music. Do you remember the music?
Vaguely. Very vaguely. Yes, now I do, yeah. Opening credits.
It was like all throughout that movie.
The one thing I didn't realize until much older is that she was... What was the thing? Like, there weren't 101 of them, actually, but they actually adopted them. It wasn't that she actually made 101.
So she only gave birth to like 6 puppies, and then Cruella was stealing all these Dalmatian puppies to make a fur coat. She was gonna fucking skin them. I didn't realize that till I was older either. And then they ended up adopting all. What it was is
wasn't there a puppy mill involved in some way
I don't
as
know.
well? Or, I mean, there's no way there was that many Dalmatians
I don't
in
know.
the city.
She stole 99 of them. And then with the other 2, it made 101.
Remember when the one almost didn't make it?
Yeah, and he was like,
and he used the Midas touch.
Is that what it was? And he was like,
Midas touch. Also on this list for Netflix that you can enjoy, National Treasure, starring Nick Cage.
My mom loves that movie.
Everyone loved that movie.
I
remember I worked at AMC. That shit made so much fucking money.
I don't love that movie.
So much fucking money.
But Nick Cage just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, that's funny. I was watching that documentary that I picked up last week on MegaCon. Whatever happened to Superman Lives, or The Death of Superman Lives, where Nick Cage almost starred as Superman.
Oh no!
And in this documentary, there is footage of him in the Superman outfit and actually testing out lines. And I'm like, it's Nick Cage. It's not Superman.
No.
I'm gonna stop you, Brainiac. It's really weird.
Next up on the list, we have The King's Speech.
Love that movie. We saw that in theaters. Really fucking good. Jeffrey Rush, Barbossa himself.
Oh, he did a great job.
Trying to help out the king. Stuttering ass fucking king. Try to get through that ship. Loosely based on a true story.
Yep, it was great. We also have Thor Ragnarok. Still won't see it.
We won't see it. Not even for Jeff Goldblum. No. So it's there. I know some of you like it.
Can we fast forward to Jeff Goldblum?
I will YouTube a clip compilation if it's there.
Okay.
I don't want to contribute to the views on
All right,
this.
that's fine.
Also, Voltron Legendary Defenders Season 6. This shit's coming out quicker than I thought. They're splitting these fucking seasons.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
They're probably. We still need to finish Season 5. We have 4 or 5 more episodes.
Yeah, we're close.
Yep.
Also, In Bruges.
That was a great movie.
So fucking good.
I haven't seen that in years.
I'm going to stop right here. It came out in 2008. And if you have not seen In Bruges, I want you to write this down. INBRUGES. Don't just watch it on Netflix, because it's not going to hit right on June 1st. It's like a few weeks in. Go out to Best Buy, go out to Target, wherever you buy your Blu-rays, buy In Bruges. It is so fucking good, you won't regret it. Hagrid's in it. It's also got Bullseye from the Daredevil movie. Colin Farrell.
Wasn't Voldemort in it?
Yes, Ray Fiennes. He's in it. Amazing. Fucking good. Really, really fucking good movie. Check it out, watch it. It's well-directed, well-written, great story. Amazing all around. One of my favorite movies of all time is In Bruges. I bought that on Blu-ray. We own it. Please watch it. Check it out. Maceo, if you're listening, he and I align on a lot of these movies. You will enjoy it if you haven't seen it already.
We need to watch it again because it's been many, many years since I've seen it.
Also, Disney's Tarzan. In other words, a fucking music video for what's his fucking name?
Yeah, Phil Collins.
Yeah, it's the Phil Collins, the animated movie.
Man, listen. Can I tell you what people have pointed out about Tarzan, though?
What?
People on the internet don't really like the Tarzan movie.
It's not very good.
It's not very good. But they say Phil Collins went at that hard. Like, you could tell that man was trying with every single fucking song. So at least give him that. Because he must have read the script and was like, But he gave us, like, fucking quality.
He definitely tried. Yeah, I would say so. As a kid, I didn't like his songs. I didn't enjoy it. So, it wasn't... I don't think it's made for kids' animated movies. He's made for movies like American Psycho, where he has like 2 or 3 songs in the soundtrack. Love those fucking movies.
I like Phil Collins.
Do you listen to Phil Collins? And then he fucking murders 2 women after that. Phil Collins is good murdering music, I guess.
I mean, people do get killed in Tarzan.
That's true.
And finally on the list, we have Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Ooh, the very controversial. The one that switched the tides up after people saw Force Awakens. Although some of the fan base, after they saw Force Awakens, they were very unhappy with it. So the far left blamed it on, you just don't like female leads. And they're like, no, this is just not my Star Wars. And I'm just in the middle like, I don't know who's right. I don't know who's wrong.
I don't even like Star Wars.
I don't give a shit because I'm not that crazy about Star Wars. I saw The Last Jedi and I'm like, yep, that was a Star Wars movie. Like, they're not cinematic masterpieces, even the first or the second one. I'm sorry. Episode 4 or 5, they're not. I know it's in the Library of Congress for achievement, but they're just stolen ideas from previous movies that he was inspired by. And everything is, but this was like super blatant about it, which I thought was interesting. But it came out at the right time. And now we're getting these fans that grew up with that thing that had such a big impact on them that we're getting fucking Disney that paid, billions of dollars for this franchise. And now people are saying, well, they're steering it in the wrong direction. It's like, give it back to Lucas. It's like, you weren't fucking happy with Lucas.
Right.
Shut the fuck up. We're not getting Jar Jar Binks out of this.
I haven't seen this one yet, so maybe I can finally catch up and not like it also.
People are trying to compare it to the prequels, like they're running it into the ground just like that. It's like, have you seen anything as controversial as midichlorians, which I think are the best part of Star Wars, by the way, or Jar Jar Binks? Like, has anything that controversial popped up? No, it has fucking not. I'm sorry, fuck off. That is not, you're overreacting, and they're probably worried that this is gonna eventually end in that direction. But we've had 2 movies that have not been like the prequels, so fucking relax. Jesus fucking Christ. As a casual fucking Star Wars fan, calm the fuck down, or just go watch the fucking trilogy and don't see any one of these ever again. But you will, because you can't fucking help yourself. You will go to the next one and bitch about that one too.
And that wraps up our Netflix highlights of June.
Whenever I talk about this too, people are like, you must be a Star Trek guy. I'm like, I'm a good fucking movie guy. I'm just a fucking, yes, I do prefer Star Trek over Star Wars, but it's not because I do prefer Star Trek that I like Star Wars for what it is. I don't hate it, which some people think it's one or the other. You have to like one and hate the other. But I'm just like, I like them both just fine. I appreciate Star Trek more because I had Next Gen, because I had Patrick Stewart, who gave us these almost hour-long episodes of like fucking awesomeness, like almost a movie every fucking week, right? And it's just him solving shit. You know what I mean? It's just him putting his dick on the table and fucking aliens from one ship to the other, and they show their asshole to him, and they're like, all right, Picard. And I'm like, yes, fucking Picard wins again. And then he sleeps with women across the galaxy. This is Picard. Machismo in the future, I guess. That's what machismo looks like.
And it was sexy.
Will the Next Gen ever be viewed as like outdated? Like, I know how now Star Trek, I view some of these old ones and it's just them like seducing women and the women like getting all over them. And I'm like, this is outdated. Will Next Gen ever be outdated with Picard seducing women?
I'm going to say no, but yes, probably. But no, Picard will always, 20 million years in the future, people will be like, yeah, Picard. Because we'll be around 20 million years in the future.
Hopefully. If frozen technology ever reaches like a comfortable position, I'll be like, all right, you can have my money, freeze me, throw me in the future.
Oh no, I would not want that.
Yeah, that reminds me. Do you remember that Family Guy clip with Walt Disney where they unfroze him? Hey, welcome to the year 2000, Walt. Are the Jews gone yet? No. Put me back in. And he closes. That's one of the things. By the I'm getting a soapbox here. Have you heard of Zack Snyder's new movie?
No.
It is The Fountainhead, based on Ayn Rand's novel.
Okay.
Which she is viewed as, the super uber conservative, racist author, all of that stuff. And so Zack Snyder's getting extra shit because of it. But obviously DCEU fans have pointed out, no matter what he made, you would have given him shit for it. Of course. They pointed out if he had retired, you guys would have been, finally, they got to him. Like, good thing he fucking retired, that piece of shit. No matter what he did, they would have gone after Zack Snyder. So he might as well have done whatever he wanted to. He had his pick of whatever. That's the position he's in right now. And one of the things that they've been saying is a lot of these people that have criticized Zack Snyder for taking Ayn Rand's novel and creating it into a movie, which politics aside, you can make a good movie out of this. It's separate from what her beliefs are. Especially if you can work in those same themes, and it's like, it's still it's art, it's still a movie. But people pointed out a lot of these are MCU fans. And it's like, okay, so if you're going to criticize this and you're a fan of the MCU and the Disney universe, then you're also supporting someone who was an anti-Semitic guy and also a racist, which was Walt Disney. So don't come at like, oh, he's doing this and supporting this. Like, fuck yourself.
They're not going to pay attention to that.
No, because it's not convenient and
of course.
it's fucking biased. But fuck that shit, right? That's one thing. That's my soapbox for this fucking week. So you guys are educated and you guys know. This is what's going on that week.
Thank you for that. I feel the more you know.
The more you fucking know. Let's head into the Brocat block, what happened for us this week. So last weekend, we went to MegaCon. We talked about it very briefly.
MegaCon was a lot of fun this year, like it is every single year. Different dynamic with a child, though.
Yeah, we took it a lot slower. Much slower. He was enjoying seeing everything. He was a little bit fussy, not quite as calm as when he was at Epcot, but he does like being outside, so that's one of the factors on it. The convention hall I felt it was well spaced, but we also went Thursday, Friday. I ended up parking at the Hyatt, paying over double the price for parking, I found out. But with the fucking stroller and having Leo, it ended up being worth the extra money because
So
the first time you went, you had to take the shuttle when we drove separately.
The first day we drove separately because you were staying out for the Brocat meetup. I had to go home. It was just easier to drive separately. So I parked in the convention parking, which was $10, and the Hyatt was $25, I believe. But loading up the stroller, getting on the shuttle to get over there with all his bags, because he needed like 4 bags to get through the day, because you got to have the diaper bag and the toy bag and the food bag for us, and it was too much. It was very stressful for me. So definitely the second day was much easier parking over there, just walking. It wasn't too warm outside, it wasn't raining, so it worked out well for us. Definitely something I think that I would do next year again, even though the parking's more expensive, just to have that convenience. Now I know why people pay for premium parking for bullshit, but it was much, much smoother, I think, for everyone that way.
Yeah, I could tell the difference in your stress level from the first day to the second day. And the second day you were just like, I was like, she's on vacation compared to fucking yesterday.
Oh my God. That first day, it was just, and I think another part of the stress for me, again, we drove separately. So getting him into the convention on top of the shuttle was 100% me. The second day you were there to help unload everything, to hold him so I could get things situated, all that kind of stuff. And I know when you're there, I can relax a little bit more because I don't have to be, now that I'm a mom, I have irrational fears about just bullshit. And so I get uncomfortable when I'm around a lot of people and you're not there because I feel like I have to be hyper aware all the time.
It'd be like that scene in Mother.
Not that I saw Mother, but yes. Yes, so it was much easier with you there the second day.
I relate because I have night terrors of him falling off the bed. Right? You've been like, Dan, he's fine, he's right here, and I'm like, fuck, like it's pure terror. It's really weird. But yeah, that's that aside. So parking, if you have a baby, park in the
Hyatt
closest spot. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll touch on the Brocat meetup. The convention itself, we could move straight through it pretty easily, and I don't know if it's because we had a stroller. One of the guys we talked to, we knew several people at different booths. They're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going, guys?" And it was great because it feels good knowing people at the booths, several of them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, when I had a baby, if you have the stroller, you part the seas."
Yeah.
Like, people get out of your way when you have a stroller and a little adorable fucking baby. And I would say that I'm being biased because it's my clone, but the way people react and look at him and always smile at him today at Target itself, when we were there, like, moms kept looking at him. And it's not just because it's a baby. You're a mom, you know there's ugly babies.
Oh, yeah. I smile at babies at work and I'm like, it's a baby. But I still smile at him because I miss my baby.
So are people smiling at Leo because they miss their baby?
No, he's a fucking cute baby.
He is an adorable baby. He's my clone.
Yes.
It is a fact. I know it's like one of the advantages is we can just go through with the fucking stroller. People get out of the way, we can move by. So maybe that's why it was much easier. I don't know. There were also less cosplayers on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
I heard Saturday and Sunday were uber packed.
I'm sure
and
they were.
I know Thursday was much busier this year than it was last year. So I guess fuck myself over this whole, like, 4 days might be too much for MegaCon. This year, people kind of filled up the hall a lot more and there were more attendees. Could be that last year was an election year, and I know across the board, all businesses suffer at any election year. So that could have been it too. Was it last year? Yeah, last year was an election year. So that could have been a contributing factor to it. But I know this year was definitely, it felt more packed. It felt like I could still move around, though. I
definitely feel that way. Even some of the vendors that we talked to said they made almost double on this Thursday that they did compared to last Thursday.
Yeah, Blue Juice Comics we talked to, our friends.
Which was great for them. It was just, I don't know, I think it was the right amount of busy. Any more than that, of course, would have been too much. But you were still able to get into the panels. You were able to get in and see the artists and didn't have to wait too long in a line, really, for anything.
I agree. Unless it was someone like Tom King, and even then, some of the regulars and listeners told me that it was like a 20 to 25 minute wait. It wasn't too bad. But I know I wasn't hunting signatures this year. I may next year because of the experience I had this year and the amount of money I dropped. But for people that were getting signatures, it wasn't too bad. What I ended up going for on Thursday, the first day, is to get the commissions fucking going, because I know these artists. Like I've done this several times. They never finish on time. The commissions, you got to get on that list early, especially if they're artists you like. And I did have my target list, right? I had like my 6 or 7 artists, and I know I'm not going to get all 7 because that's expensive as shit. You're spending over $1,000 at that point. But in this case, I had my artist, and I went to them and I found them, and I looked at their artwork, and I'm like, all right, I'm deciding in my head which characters I want. So the very first one, I believe, was David Nakayama. You ever see his covers? It says DNA on it. He does a lot of them for X-Men Gold. He did one for Deadpool month, in which it was the Captain America one. It just came out like within the last half year. And great fucking guy, awesome guy. The first time we stopped by, we were talking. He wasn't feeling too well. He was under the weather, but super nice. He talked about the podcast. He's like, "Oh, thanks for supporting." He follows us on Vero, Twitter, and Instagram. So it's definitely someone who's very much aware about the show, and it was great meeting him for the first time in person. And I was very happy. I bought some prints for the store's bathrooms for the comic shop I work at. I bought the Mary Jane Deadpool one. I bought the Deadpool Captain America one. And then I bought a Thanos one, because I know we have a lot of Thanos fans in the shop, especially now after Infinity War. So I got one of those. I didn't just pick out the stuff that I would like. And so I got 3 prints from him, and then I commissioned him for a spinneret from Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vow. So it was a Mary Jane. I did ask for a maskless version, but he ended up drawing the mask on there. I'm like, all right, it still ended up being a pretty good commission. So I was really happy with it. So that's, once again, David Nakayama. The second artist that I went to is Jeff DeCal. Beautiful fucking covers. Does amazing work for Marvel, especially watercolor, which we especially appreciate because of Dustin Nguyen. And then that's something I've always enjoyed as someone who used to draw and do some artwork. And he said, okay, give me 3 characters and I'll pick from there. And I'm like, that makes sense. Like, not just the character that you want. Some people might be offended by that. Like, no, I'm paying you. Do the character I want. But it's like, okay, pick 3 characters you would like. And I did. I think I chose Starfire. I chose Big Barda. And then the last one, I believe, was Raven. I can't recall what the third one was. But he said, yeah, I'll do a Starfire for you. And that's the one that he did. And I did the pencil version, the colored pencil version, which ended up being the lesser option, like the cheapest version. And he's like, all right, because the next level up was paints. Well, when I went to pick up my commission, he's like, I had my paints out anyway, so I just threw some paints on yours. I'm like, oh, cool. So he put paints on our Starfire, and it came out really nice. So really nice guy. Jeff DeCal, if you follow him on Twitter, do it, because he's a friend of the show as well. Gave us a little paint upgrade. Now, I'm not afraid to burn this bridge, because I'm never going to get another commission from this guy again. And he joins the ranks with Neil Adams. It's one of 2 artists now.
Yes.
It is Alex Maleev. Well known for his Moon Knight, well known for Daredevil with Brian Michael Bendis. Phenomenal artist. It is probably, no offense to the other 2 artists, it's probably the most well done of the 3 commissions that I got. Like, it's like, damn, this is really, really well done. But I'm never going to do another commission from him. The way the story went, and you were there, I think, for most of it, except for the Thursday one. And I went up and I came up with my Action Comics 1000. And I said, hey, are you taking commissions? I'm only here today and tomorrow, so I don't know if you can finish it in time. And he's like, yeah, I can take it. What would you like? And I said, I would like a Silver Banshee on this Action Comics 1000. He goes, Silver who? And I said, oh, Silver Banshee. She's a Superman villain. I don't know who that is. So you're going to have to pull up something. I don't know. I'm like, all right, here you go. So from the get-go, he was kind of rude. So I pulled up Silver Banshee. And he's like, okay, write down the name, because I'm going to have to look her up later. I don't know who that is. All right, here you go. Silver Banshee, wrote it on the thing. He's like, okay, it'll be done tomorrow. All right, cool. So we enjoyed the convention. We come back Friday. I come back Friday. The convention's open till 7 p.m. I come by and I stop at his booth around 4. And you were there with me. And I was like, hey, I'm here to pick up the Silver Banshee commission. And he says, I haven't started it yet. I'm like, okay, today's my last day here. Convention closes at 7. Are you going to be able to finish it, or should we do a refund? And he's like, come back at 6. I'll have it done then. Those were his words, right? You said that? Okay.
He said, I'll have it done by 6.
I'll have it done by 6.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. So we went, we enjoyed the commission. We talked to my friend Brian, who I hadn't seen in a little while. He told us about his awesome Jeff Goldblum meet and greet and all this other stuff that he did with Pee Wee Herman as well. So we're talking to him for a while, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then you point out, oh, okay, it's about 6:15. Let's head over to that table. And I always give artists extra time, because anytime they've told me, like, I don't want to be that guy that comes right at 7 and it's like, oh, it's not done yet. I don't want to be that fucking guy. So I give him extra time. So we get to his table at about 6:20. And I come to his table. His whole table is packed up. Like, it is clean. There's nothing on the table. He's standing there with his 2 handlers. And I come up and I'm like, hey, I'm picking up the Silver Banshee commission. I'm worried in my head, like, he hasn't even started it either. And he points to the clock and he goes, where were you? I said 6. And I'm like, well, I'm here for the commission. And he's still staring at his clock. And he does that thing where he's staring at you right in the eye and he shakes his head. And I'm like, Jesus, fuck, man. And then he goes and he's like, which one was it? I'm like, Silver Banshee. And he's like, here. I'm like, all right, cool, thanks. And he turns to his handlers and he goes, now we can go. I'm like, fuck me, dude. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, crucify me if I didn't give you enough time. Crucify me now that I gave you extra time to finish this goddamn piece. So I'm not afraid to burn that fucking bridge. Alex Maleev, you're kind of an asshole. You're right up there with Neil Adams. Almost. What would you think as like a viewer? Were you like, you're taking it too seriously, or what's going on here?
No, I definitely agree. I mean, I work in the service industry.
I was trying to be nice.
You were, and I understand that, and I can see it from his point of view, where he's probably dealt with assholes at conventions that have come way after the con closed or something like that, where he's trying to go. I get that. But at the end of the day, he's also at the con to make money, right? Like, you paid him a good amount of money.
I did.
For this commission.
Yes. My problem is he did not tell me I plan to leave to wherever at 6, so please be here by 6. He just said I'll have it done by 6. Like, that doesn't tell me I'm trying to fuck off. The convention's open till 7, guy. Are you still trying to sell prints? I don't fucking know.
Right.
A lot of artists are. There's a shit ton of artists that were still there and they're trying to sell prints until fucking 7 p.m. and then they go and get dinner and get drunk. But he was, I guess, trying to leave right at fucking 6. And I understand that he's a huge artist. He's a professional. He is. But a lot of professional artists, look at Jim Lee. They don't finish shit on time. They don't. They simply don't. And if you wanted me to be there right at 6, you should have fucking told me I plan to leave here. So be sure to be here by 6. I'll have it done by then.
Right.
To just tell me casually, it'll be done by 6. All right, cool. I'm trying to be nice. So it's like, and I know my friend Mark, he was like, I would have been talking back to him. Like, I'm the one paying you. And I'm like, I was just like, here, give me the fucking thing. I'll never commission you again. It's fine. Like, and I didn't even tell him that. I'm just like, in my mind, you had an amazing piece here, and it's a shame. And I know it's $150. Not a big deal for you, maybe. I don't know what you charge. Maybe that's not going to make a difference to you, that I don't get a commission for you moving forward every single year. Like I do certain artists that I do want a commission every single year if they're available. That's fine. If this loss means nothing to you, you can afford to be rude to whoever. Great. But to me, at least I know now, never again, Alex Maleev. That's cool. And I'm not in a hurry to share his image either. I'm not in a hurry to share his art. I will eventually. I think you guys should see it, but that's just my thing.
That really, though, was the worst part of our convention experience,
it was,
I think. Yeah. that one little negative experience. But other than that, like you said, the floor was laid out really well. They had some really cool exhibits, and maybe they had it last year and I just never saw it. But they had the deck of like the Star Trek Enterprise, and then you could put on the different shirts. Yeah, you could put on the different shirts and then take pictures. They had Jurassic Park, and you could get a picture in front of the gates, which was really cool. Of course, every year they have the Batmobile, they have the Ghostbusters mobile, whatever, that you could take a picture with. They had some really cool stuff. Leo got a Ditto.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't there for that. Yeah, I wish I had been. I just saw you come up with a Ditto and he's playing with it.
You were, like, looking at something. That was when you were getting your first commission.
Okay.
And it was right across the way. So I walked him over. And there's this little purple Ditto sitting on the table. And I hold it up to Leo, and he just gets this big smile and grabs it. And I was like, fuck. Now I got to get this Ditto, right? And so I asked the lady how much it was, and she's like, $15. And the sign clearly said 20 or 25 for plushies.
You said
I don't
25.
even remember. Yeah, and she said $15. So I was like, yeah, shit, why not?
She gave you a little discount.
Yeah, and so I got it, and he loved it, and now it's sitting on the floor somewhere. But in my mind, I know that he loves it.
I think if you show it to him again, babies forget everything. So if you show it to him, I'm sure he'll love it. It's a really nice plush, too. Thankfully, there were some Bulbasaur and Venusaur ones, because those shits aren't going to sell out.
No.
I ended up buying after you convinced me, I bought a Bulbasaur beanie.
And it's perfect.
It is perfect. And thankfully, they still had some.
Yeah. It is really cool. I'm glad you bought it. I don't think I bought anything for myself.
You bought the Bulma t-shirt that I ended up buying for you.
I did buy a Bulma t-shirt. It's cool.
It was, it's kind of, I don't know if you guys, those of you familiar with DBZ, and I know a lot of BroCat members are, you know, the Batman logo that Vegeta had in that pink shirt in the Z? It wasn't GT, right? It was
Well,
Z?
no, that's actually Bulma's dress.
I thought he had like a button up.
No, Vegeta has one, but the
Right,
Bulma is Bulma's dress.
So that is also based on something.
Yes.
That's really interesting. So they had the exact same type of logo on each of the t-shirts before they hooked them up, or is this after they hooked them up?
Hold on.
No, answer me that question.
Hers was back in like the beginning, like Dragon Ball or whatever it was.
Right, so when he wore the Batman shirt, is that when they were already starting to hook up Bulma and Vegeta?
Yes.
Okay, so
that
they
was
were
during the 3 years.
I gotcha. Okay. So that makes even more sense. So they were subtly hinting at like they already wear. Yeah, you're right. There it is.
That's her Bulma dress.
And his said, I think in the Japanese version it says badass, and then when they brought it to the U.S. it said Batman.
Batman, whatever. We don't care. That's fine.
So we ended up. She got the Bulma one, and I have the Batman one. We bought that from Lazy Nerds Designs.
Yeah.
They were at MegaCon as well. So also Matt Adner. He ended up, I don't know if you guys remember, but he did the GoFundMe campaign to try to get his booth paid off, and he did. And he also put out our business cards. And from that booth, we ended up getting a nice boost of subscribers and listens on our podcast. So if you're an all-new listener because of MegaCon, thank you so much, and we hope you enjoyed the ride moving forward. You know, basically what I've ranted and talked about and the news we've covered is mostly what the show is about. So you'll be all up to date. You'll get the inside stuff because of our buddy Jeff Johns.
Yes.
And also because I have worked on Aquaman, Justice League, and we were about to do The Crow, but not so much. So huge thanks to Matt Adner for not only having our business cards, but he printed up like this graphic that said, hey, do you enjoy podcasts? Listen to The Reasons I'm Broke, thereasonsimbroke.com. And right under that are fucking business cards.
It was perfect.
And he contributed to Leo's blank cover commission. He was the only contribution. I didn't feel comfortable with the other artists, especially fucking Alex Maleev. But he did. I told him the only rule, you got to do a different version of Batman. And he went for Batman 66 and fucking nailed it. So you've got Jim Lee, you've got Joe Quinones, you've got Al Baltazar, you've got Franco, and now you've got Matt Adner. Thank you so much, Matt, for contributing to Leo's commission, his blank cover that one day I will give him. I'm like, here you go. It is all of the Batman. What else did we see? We saw a ton of Pokemon stuff. We saw some comics. I got the exclusive Batman 46 foil variant. That was kind of cool.
We ran into some broquettes that we hadn't met before.
I was going to leave that. Yeah, I guess we can go
We're
straight into it.
We're going to talk about it now.
So this was the first convention that I remember that we had the most people, and you weren't there. That was the tragedy of it because the Kelli wasn't there. But you were there for one of them when he was in line for Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, where he goes, Kelli, and he greeted you, the Emperor, of course. So you were there, and you're like, oh, shit, this must be a listener. But you pointed out someone, and you're like, do you know him? And I look, and he's wearing a purple The Reasons I'm Broke t-shirt with the classic logo on it. I'm like, no, I don't. You're like, let's go introduce ourselves. I'm like, yeah. So we go over, and I just, like, very subtly, like, hey, nice shirt. And he goes, thanks. And then he looks at me, oh! So that was one of the cool moments. That was like the first one too. I went into the DC panel, and I'm sitting outside the door with Kyle and Scott. I think Scott was there. Might have been Roger, but we're sitting outside the convention, the panel room before the first. It was the second DC panel that we went to, so it was on Friday. So that was Scott and Kyle. And we're sitting out there, and I'm waiting for the thing to clear, and I'm thinking there's still people in there, but people are just going in anyway. So I'm like, oh, shit. But when we were standing at the entrance, some guy, like, peeks in, he looks, he turns over, and he does, like, a double take. Like, he turns back around, and he's like, the podcast? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, hey, I just started listening. I'm really enjoying it so far, though. I'm like, oh, man. And then, like, it happened a few times at the convention floor. They either recognized me from the comic shop that I work at. Like, they used to be like, hey, I'm not going to say the name of the shop, but they're like, hey, Mr. Comic shop. And I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going, man? Hey, I watch your videos every Tuesday. Oh, cool. I do like a new comic book day video every Tuesday night where I show off the books that are coming out the next day. And people tell me in the comments and in the live chat, like, hey, I want that one. I want that one. It works well. Like, none of the other stores do it, and I think they should in our chain. But, the other stores, people will tell me anyway. And so people recognize me from that, and more people are following that that particular stream every Tuesday because they want to know what comes out. So if it was probably 50-50 as far as like people recognize me from the shop or people recognize me from the podcast. And I was like, damn, like this is the biggest we've ever grown. Like it, and I know the idea is that every year you want to grow more and more, but eventually you kind of plateau. But this was the year where I'm like, I've never been more recognized at the convention. It was kind of weird. And I know Kyle was like, oh, Mr. Popular, everyone knows you. And I'm like, stop. And like, no.
Stop
I'm
it.
minimizing it as much as possible, but it does feel nice. It feels pretty cool. So that was like one of the feel-good moments of MegaCon. And if you did stop by and say, hey, Daniel, how's it going? Thank you so much. Like it does not only mean the world that you stopped by and said hi, but you're listening to the show as well. So that's the main thing. That's what keeps us going. The post-BroCat meetup, huge shout out to Kyle for coming out to both the Thursday and the Friday one. That was the Ale House meetup, which was a lot of fun. We got to catch up on a lot of the stuff that we went through. Mark L was there, and also on the Friday night one, we went to the Hyatt bar. That was like some classy fucking shit. Like we were sitting there. It was just Kyle, me, and Mark. But then we eventually migrated to what ended up being where creators, I guess, congregated. It's that Hyatt bar. And it was for the Zombie Tramp crew. It's an independent comic book that is done by... the publisher escapes me. It's not something that I personally collect, but I know Mark does. And I know I do have subscribers that are down for that series. And a lot of the variants go for a good amount of money. But we stopped and we talked to one of the cover artists. And me being someone that works in the industry and him being someone that contributes to the artwork, like we were just clicking on like, yeah, this cover and that variant and this and that and so on. So that was really cool that I got to talk to one of the artists and we were just hanging out basically and just drinking. And then also one of the vendors there were several vendors in the bar room. But one of the guys came up and he's like, hey, Daniel, how's it going? And I'm thinking he recognized me from the podcast, but he actually recognizes me from the comic shop. And we just got to talking and like he was very respectful. Like I was kind of taken aback where he's like, hey, thank you so much for talking to me. And I'm like, I'm just a guy, man. You know, I'm just a dude. But I guess he said he didn't shop at the comic shop, but he recognized me from the comic shop, which I was a little confused. I don't know if it was from the streams that he recognized me or I'm not sure, but if you're listening, let me know but he wasn't a listener, so maybe I'll never know. But it was still cool to talk variants with him, talk the industry with him. So that was really cool. Overall, the post-BroCat meetups were a lot of fun. I know some of you did try to come out, and then the parking was $25. And I know you couldn't make it, and that's fine. You tried. Like it was still a great time, and we'll do it again next year. We'll do a post-BroCat meetup. Kyle did a great job in being a co-host of it, and if he'll have it again next year, we'll do it again. That was a really good way to close out, even though I was tired by Friday, and even Saturday, like I was dragging ass at work.
I just want to mention this and a shout out to the convention before we continue on with our BroCat block. But something that I didn't expect, and maybe they had it last year and we just weren't paying attention, but they had signs in all the bathrooms for quiet rooms and nursing rooms if you brought your baby. And I was like, this is fucking genius. I definitely took advantage of it. Got Leo to take a nap because for those of you with young children, if your kid is up all day, like it's hell. your kid needs a nap, even if it's just for a little bit. So it was great that I had that they provided a place where I could take him and we could just be quiet and relax and let him wind down from all that overstimulation. So thank you, MegaCon. Thank you, Orlando Convention Center, for providing that for families.
Maybe those were available at C2E2, maybe at Wizard World, maybe at previous MegaCons, but it's not until we're parents that we look for these things. And those were available. So that was a huge help for MegaCon to do that quiet room. And that's where we ended up meeting at one point with several of the fellow content creators and, of course, listeners. So that was awesome. Great for MegaCon to actually do something like that so that we can take a moment to rest, eat, and for little Leo man to take a nap.
But that is it for our convention from this year. Of course, there will be next year and more stories then. I do want to talk about two things that I've been watching on TV because you have to hear about me and my life. The first is The Bachelorette started. And did I talk about The Bachelor previously when it was on briefly?
Briefly, yes.
Briefly. So I started watching The Bachelor on maternity leave because I had watched everything else there was to see. And you get to the end, for those of you who don't know, many of you may not care, he picked a girl and then on live television dumped her and went with the other girl.
I saw that episode.
So the girl that he dumped they made her the new Bachelorette. And I was like, well, fuck. Now
Makes
I got
sense.
it. Now I gotta watch it.
They got you by the balls.
Now I gotta watch it. So I'm watching it, and there's some characters on there. Now I can see who's really planted and who's not, because
how can you tell?
Well, just what I know about this woman. She is a very intelligent woman. She's built her career. She just the way she talks and the way she presents herself, you can tell that she's looking for that kind of intelligence in a partner as well.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the guys they put on here, like the one guy is a plant. He's a fucking male model who only talks about himself and how the other men didn't dress well enough to come and meet her.
Is he gay?
And in his opening, he talks about how he spends 2.5 hours getting ready every day with listen. And then there's another guy on there who's a colognosaur, he calls himself. He collects Rolexes and ties and has probably $10,000 worth of cologne. And that's not, I don't know. Maybe some women look for that. I don't foresee Becca, the Bachelorette, looking for those kind of men. But they both made it through to the next round, so.
Something about them made them keep going, I guess. Maybe he smelled good.
Well, she did comment that he smelled good, but I think when she finds out how much money he's wasted on cologne and Rolexes and ties.
This has to be cologne that's got all the pheromones and everything in there. It's gotta be.
I don't know.
There's no way it isn't.
I don't know. But anyway, so that's The Bachelorette. The other thing that I watched was the 2 Lucifer episodes that were supposed to be in a lead into season 4.
So were they a lead into season 4?
Absolutely, they were a lead into season 4. So one of the episodes actually introduces another one of Lucifer's siblings, and it comes way out of left field. You don't even expect it. And they kind of make a comment about what Chloe saw in the season finale.
So she didn't see the devil, is it?
Yeah, she saw him, but she makes a comment like, I've seen things way, way crazier than this. And so you know that she saw it and she's recognizing that, but they still don't address it because they're focused on another character. But anyway, then you meet another one of Lucifer's siblings at the end, but you realize that you've known them the whole episode. And you've really known them even longer than that because there's references to them from another character from way long ago. Like she's been referencing this character for 2 seasons now. And then you realize who it is, and you're like, oh, shit! It was really cool. And then the other one is a What If episode, where it's narrated by God, who kind of sounds like Lucifer, too, but whatever, I'm moving on. Where, what if... So, the whole thing, the whole reason Chloe becomes a cop is because her dad gets shot, and so then she wants to be a cop and solve murders and prevent this kind of stuff, sure. So, it's what if the bullet had been moved a few inches... And so he doesn't die, and she doesn't become a cop. Mm-hmm. Would all these characters still end up in the same place? So you get to see where all the characters are at, and it would be different. But they still kind of all end up together somehow.
All right,
like
because the show.
they all end up in each other's lives. They're just doing different things. So like Espinosa is still a dirty cop, and what's her name is still a dirty lawyer, but they still have to interact and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it was pretty cool. I'm glad that we got to see them. I'm glad the network didn't just go, no. They still put them out.
Well, they spent the money. Well, someone spent the money on them anyway. Right.
And they were 45-minute episodes still, which was awesome.
Would season 4 have been the alternate version of this universe? No. Is that what that was setting up?
No,
so what was it setting up then?
It was just a 1 episode, one-off.
What was season 4 supposed to be then?
Oh, it's Chloe coming to terms with the fact that all this shit is real.
Okay. And then from there, like the dynamic obviously changes, and you have a shit ton of stuff that you can write on now because of this new now. Yeah,
because they were together, but now she found out this thing. So how does that change the dynamic? How do you come to terms with this and still view this person as somebody that you had feelings for when you now know he's not just using metaphors? He has been the devil the whole time. Good shows, watch them.
So with Brocat Block, let's head into our Patreon shoutouts of the week.
We have 4 shoutouts this week. The first one goes out to Alexander, whose Twitter handle is @SwordfishShow. You can also find him at purpleswordfish.com.
Purpleswordfish.com will send you straight into his YouTube channel. And he's been doing Madden Weekend League and also MLB The Show streams. So if you ever want to add on to your YouTube streams, everyone's got their channels that they follow. Add Purple Swordfish. He interacts a lot with the chat, so it's not just, like, oh, I'm not into baseball. Well, don't worry. Like, the talk isn't only baseball. Like, it is going to be, you ask him a question and he pays attention to the chat. So make sure to follow him at Swordfish Show, purpleswordfish.com. Also, Lourdes and Katie.
Katie was thrilled to see Deathstroke confirmed for the DC Supervillains video game.
Gotta have Deathstroke.
Gotta
play as him. Huge thanks to Bobby on Twitter at Cuban Slim. He tried to come out to the Broket meetup. He had to be out of town, but we will definitely meet up for UFC.
Bobby's news, he did have his Pokemon League Cup canceled due to not running league challenges throughout.
So this whole thing is a transparency issue with the Pokemon company. And this is something, I run a Pokemon League, and I used to do the league challenges and league cups as well, but having moved to a new store, it's kind of like a starting over, and you're rebuilding everything, including your professors and judges. So in this case, you have to run X amount of league challenges according to Pokemon to qualify for the league cups. And that's what we did initially when I used to run the league cups at the older store. You have to run X amount of league challenges to qualify. Great. So I did it. We all did it. Great. We qualified. We ran league cups, and with help from Bobby as well, we had successful league cups. And we were able to schedule league cups I think it's every month, every 3 months possibly. It's been a while since I've done them. It's kind of like the league challenges. I think it is every 3 months. And when you schedule them, it's like a bigger tournament. It is like where this is what you need to win X amount of these to qualify for nationals, and then to win and then qualify for worlds. Well, once you had your challenges under your belt, you could run as many league cups as you wanted. That was the idea. But Pokemon was not transparent, and they said, no, you have to keep running challenges to keep qualifying for the next cup. And they never enforced it, but now they decided to. But because of that, even though you're running successful league cups, you're running a consistent Pokemon League, they still want you to run these league challenges, and now they decided to actually enforce them. So because of that, many league cups around the nation are being canceled due to them not having that threshold of league challenges under their belt. So that's what ended up happening to him. That's what's happening to a lot of these cups that are having their cups canceled. So it's this organization from Pokemon themselves.
Beat chance.
They're being fucking beat chance. Like I'm not only as an organizer, but I sided with Bobby and the rest of them, because if they had fucking really been enforcing this, then sure, we'll fucking run league challenges, no problem. But Jesus fuck, like they instead started from one day to the next. Like, no, now you have to enforce them. I don't know. It's kind of shady. Like, they're in their rights to do it, great, but as an organizer, it's like, yeah, you weren't doing it before, like over a year now, I think.
And our last shout out goes out to Neil, whose Twitter handle is at Inmats68.
He retweeted a spread the word, letting DC and Warner Brothers Animation know that we want more Green Lantern, the animated series. Yes. Don't let the dream die.
Don't let it die.
We want Space Zuko.
I love Space Zuko.
And his girlfriend.
Aya.
Aya. The spaceship.
Yes. Space Zuko and the spaceship. It was perfect.
Like, I know I've given up too, just like I did on Young Justice. But it's good to see that there are very passionate fans still out there, still campaigning for the return of Green Lantern, the animated series, with a season 2.
And we appreciate it.
I still love the Blu-rays. I enjoy that season. It was really good. Sinestro was fucking crazy.
It was awesome.
Murdered that fucking guy. Murdered the little Krang creature.
But thank you guys so much for your support, and to every single one of our Patreon backers and every single one of our listeners.
Huge thanks to DecalAvenue.com for the help at the $5 decal reward tier. What we're going to push this week is leave us a voicemail on speakpipe.com/thereasonsimBroke. There is a link in today's episode's description. We are still looking for some voicemails, a hello, a greeting, a hey, how's it going, Brokehead Core? Hey, I've enjoyed the show, for episode number 300, which is coming up in 2 weeks. So far, we have gotten 0 entries. We've gotten a lot of interest, a lot of retweets, a lot of favorites. No entries, though. So don't hesitate. Go on in, click on the link, and from your phone, you can just send us a voicemail. It's exactly like leaving a voicemail from someone else when you call them. So head on over there, 90 seconds or less. The first 20 people that send us one of those will be featured on episode 300.
And that wraps up our shout-outs for the week. Now we can move into our comic book highlight, which, as we said in the very beginning, Adventure Time, the beginning of the end, number 1 of 3.
This comic book is written by Ted Anderson, art by Marina Julia, and colors by Whitney Kogar. A lot of familiar names here, of course. So Adventure Time, the beginning of the end, number 1 of 3. It is and isn't the last Adventure Time story. Depends on how you feature it and how you read it. And just like when we had the interview with Ted Anderson, this does take place in the past. We visit Finn's past and his origins of the universe. But then the fucking Time Lord, like what the hell? The actual bet or the actual agreement that they came to, he took it super seriously.
Yeah.
And now we're having almost a destruction of the Adventure Time universe based on something that Finn said a little while back.
You gotta take these things seriously. But I thought it was really good. It sets up well. It explains everything really well just in this first issue. So you're not left, the only question you're left with is, how's Finn gonna fix it this time? And you know that he will.
And I know Ted Anderson has written a lot of My Little Pony in the past, and as he said in the interview, he watched a ton of Adventure Time to, write up this miniseries. And you read this, and you're like, oh, this is totally Adventure Time episode. Everyone's in character. Everyone's dialogue is on point. Everything that Finn and Jake say, I'm like, yep, this is exactly the characters. This is Princess Bubblegum. This is Marceline. Everyone is exactly as they should be. And then this, what I believe, I've never seen this character, and we haven't seen every single Adventure Time episode. Maybe it's an original character, but that particular problem that Finn has run into, it does kind of explore the problems or the changes that may occur in episodes or in issues 2 and 3. Are we going to explore a reality in which Finn doesn't exist? I'm not sure. But all of this is based on this promise that he made, and now the whole universe may finish or may be drastically altered based on this. What'd you think of the issue?
I really enjoyed it. Like you said, it felt just like an Adventure Time issue or episode. And it really did, even with the wacky characters. It's something that you've grown to expect from them. And I think we're going to continue to see great things in 2 and 3.
Was this an all-new character aside from the Time Lord?
I feel like I've seen her before. What was her name?
I'm going to have to track it down. But yeah, she seems to be lost in the time stream. And I wouldn't put it past Ted Anderson to pull from the cartoon and the characters for someone that may have popped up in an episode or 2 to actually put him in this series, because he did go back and see a time echo is what she ends up calling herself.
I feel like I've seen her before, but I will Google it as soon as we hunt down her name.
Shoko, Shoko. Yeah, it seems like Finn maybe recognizes her, so it sounds like someone that has been in the series before.
Yes, she has. See, there she is.
Okay, perfect.
She's been in there before.
Once again, pulling from the series into this comic book, and the next 2 issues, again, it explores the past for Finn. I'm excited to see what they end up doing in the next couple of issues. He did hint that one of them was the past, one of them was the present, one of them was the future.
Right.
So maybe that future is going to be, hey, Finn's gone, it altered the universe. What happens to the rest of these characters? What happens to the universe without Finn when you rewrite that relationship that he had with all of these characters in this universe?
Yeah, we'll find out. Issues 2 and 3.
So be sure to check those out if you haven't. If you like Adventure Time, if you haven't been reading Adventure Time or Adventure Time comics, which are the 2 ongoings, Adventure Time just wrapped up with issue number 75. But if you have not been reading those 2 comics, you can jump right into this miniseries because it is more based on the animated show than it is the comic book. So definitely subscribe to it if you're at all interested, if you're a fan of the animated series. There's only 3 issues. It is a miniseries, and so far issue 1 does explore the past of Finn and sets up the problem that we're going to try to solve in issues 2 and 3.
But that will do it for the podcast for us this week, guys. A lot of news, a lot of great stories, a great Broquette block where we talked about our lives. But as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kelli.
And I am Darth Vader Daniel.
And Broquettes, all will be well. We'll see you next week.